E flat, Maxine. Yeah, second E flat. There we go. At last and then my Savior reigns, and in one sovereign night would He devote that sacred gift for such a worm as I. And the cross where I first saw the light, and the burden of my heart rolled away. It was there I received my sight, and now I am happy all the day. Mother of the free can never repay the pain of love I owe. Here, Lord, I give myself away. 'Tis all that I can do. And the cross where I first saw the light, and the burden of my heart rolled away. It was there I received my sight, and now I am happy all the day. Did they do good? Yes, they did. Sure? Hey, Zach. You see any of my songs back there? Just pick one. Just pick one. As long as it's not an Easter song or a Christmas song or any of those Happy Hanukkah songs. I'm not, the word excited just doesn't do it enough justice, but I am tickled to come back to the house of God on Sunday night. I mean, I work all week, and it's His day. This is His day. I mean, you're not saying you want to go see Mama or Papa or it's Mama or you got to go see the kids. It's the Lord's day. I want to give Him the best I got. I'll get it, Jack. A little bit more volume on the tune up here. The call comes in, we get the word. An accident or something has occurred. So we began to pray, believing we are heard. And the doctors say, prepare for the worst. But God was first on the scene before it happened. He knew our need. How many of us would find it quite odd that we wouldn't be here except for these words? But God, in all our lives, we seldom know how many nights the angels were bent low. They are never far, the Father's always close. Some may say you need to quit, but they don't know that God, He was first on the scene before it happened. Praise God, He knew the need. How many of us would find it quite odd that we wouldn't be here except for these words, but God, oh, but God, He was first on the scene before it even happened. He knew the need. How many of us would find it quite odd that we wouldn't be here except for these words, but God, oh, but God, He was first on the scene before it happened. Well, He knew the need. How many of us would find it quite odd that we wouldn't be here except for these words, but God. Amen. Zach, can you find My Hope's in the Lord? It'll be on one CD, I think.
What's his name?
Anybody know Anne? She's a mean person.
Just how mean is she?
We invited her over to the house for lunch, her and Daisy, and she parked in my driveway, and I've got a nice turnaround place for two different vehicles to go side by side so she can turn around and go out the other way. She got as close as she could to my car, and I'm getting out on the passenger side, and I can't open that door that much. I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I'm a little bit bigger. So I lay down, and I said, well, maybe if I roll down the window, I get my leg out. I get my leg up there, and I get a leg cramp. And I decided, I said, well, the best thing for me to do is just to wiggle over, scrunch over to the driver's side, and get out on the driver's side. And I finally did get out on the driver's side while she sat there and laughed at me the whole time. I love you, Ann. They heard Job's God say, have you considered my servant Job? He's one who's faithful in all that he knows. Job lost his children, his land, and all his wealth. When he wouldn't curse God, that's when Job lost his health. His cries can be heard from the ashes where he lay. Through the pain, the sorrow, Job had to say, my hope is in the Lord. I will trust in Him and Him alone. Though death knocks at my door, my hope is in the Lord. He sat in the chair as the doctors broke the news. It could be a week, maybe a month, at the most two. I'm sorry to tell you, the cancer has spread. Death will find its way. Nothing we can do. There's nothing we can say. But the young man raised his trembling hands as his his eyes filled with tears, you could hear him softly say, through the pain, the fear, Doc, my hope is in the Lord, and I'm gonna trust in Him and Him alone. Oh, death knocks at my door, my hope is in the Lord. Though fear surrounds me and it seems there is no hope, there's one thing I'm sure of, there's one thing that I know. Thank God I know my hope is in the Lord, and I'm gonna trust in Him, yes I will, in Him alone. Oh, death knocks at my door, my hope is in, my hope is in, my hope is in the Lord.
Thank you, Brother Mike. Appreciate them specials. I like both of those songs, and those two songs have really been a blessing to me. Brother Mike Tubman's been singing those for us. I like good singing. And I believe singing prepares the heart for the message. And a lot of times preachers will belittle singing, but some of those songs have got better messages in some of the preachers I've heard preach sometimes afterwards. But anyway, thank God for it. Good to have Brother Dennis Barnett and his good wife Sandra with us tonight. And these are our missionaries that we've been supporting ever since the church was started down in the little building. In fact, I think they were our very first missionaries that we took on for support over 14 years ago. And we've had the opportunity and the privilege to go down and spend some time with them down in Mexico and work with them a few years back. We took a group down, I don't remember exactly how many, 12, 15, something like that, from a former church. And we certainly enjoyed the work, enjoyed the time that we had together, even though some of them that went thought we was going for a vacation. Boy, they get an eye open. Amen. And Brother Dennis, he'll work you like a bar and mute. And we worked. We done driveway work. We worked on buildings. He caught rattlesnakes, and killed rattlesnakes and stuff like that. I thought he was going to get us all killed. We went out on a job site one day to work with a group in a church, and he had a rattlesnake that he caught. I think it was a dead rattlesnake, but I don't care what kind they are. I'm scared of them. And even the dead ones. And he took that in there amongst those workers with us down in Mexico, and he threw that snake out on the ground. And of course, they didn't know it was dead. And I wasn't sure it was dead myself. And I said, man, you're going to get us killed. And but anyway, he done that one time, and he was working. He told us this. We didn't see this. We didn't witness this. You talk about being mean. Now, this is mean as thing. He went on a job site. They was putting a roof on the church. And Brother Dennis was down there, and they found a rattlesnake. Again, I guess he killed it. I don't know, but those Mexican people were working on top of the roof. And when he threw that snake up on the roof where the other people were, and they jumped off the roof. They done exactly what I would have done. Then after I regained my composure, me and Brother Dennis would have had a heart to talk. Amen. But I appreciate Brother Dennis. He's a tremendous worker, tremendous asset in the Lord's work down in Mexico. He actually lives in Zapata, Texas. They have warehouses there. They have a mission home complex there. And they've done a great work, and he comes up every year and he gets new materials and pews and organs, and we've given him our old sound system that we just replaced to take down there and let some of those churches in Mexico be able to use those that sound system equipment to make their services better. And I'm so glad that we can do that. It's a joy to have him today. I want you to make him welcome today, and be sure to pray for him. I'm sure he would desire your prayers. He'll be here sometime until about the end of August, he said. And so pray for me and his wife. And let's have the ushers to come forward. We'll receive the evening offering. I would say also, if you plan on eating a meal with us on Wednesday night, please put your name down. There's only about 16 signed up. So if you want to eat, be sure to put your name down on Wednesday. They're going to have some big groceries Wednesday. I think it's going to be roast beef, fresh corn, and what else did I read? What? Fresh green beans. Y'all have all them. I'll take extra corn, amen, and Sam's going to fix the corn. I like that. And so it's going to be some good food if you want to eat. $4 for adults, children as well, free. Can't beat that price anywhere. And that price is just to replace the food that we eat this week so we can buy some for next week, okay? All right, so you put your name down if you'd like to come and eat with us. We'd love to have you. It's good to see you in the Lord's house tonight. Thank you for being here. We're going to ask the Lord's blessing upon the offering. Brother Dennis, if you'd pray for us, please.
Paul, thank you for the gracious day you give us, Lord. Thank you for your love. Thank you for putting up with us all these years, Lord.
Yes.
And Lord, bless, Lord, I pray, God, tonight to touch souls and hearts, Lord, great hearts. If there's anybody here that's lost, Lord, without you, Lord, please
Yes.
show them to be saved, Lord.
Yes, grant Jesus.
Thank you for our opportunity to come here, people we love, Lord, and people we miss back home. And God, thank you for all you're going to do, Lord. We love you and praise you. All you're going to do. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Appreciate the opportunity to come back to church on Sunday night. I see a lot of people don't like that, but a lot of not here this morning. We're here, and the Lord's promised to show up and be with us, and we're so glad that He's with us tonight, and we're thankful that you are with us. And I'd like to make a couple of announcements concerning some prayer requests. Pray for Sister Marie Morrow's good friend that was put in the hospice house this morning. Remember her in prayer, pray for her family, pray for Miss Marie, they're real close friends. Her name is Scott Crinsnell, so keep her in your prayer if you would please. And then remember and pray for Lily Hancock. She's 13 years old, she's in the Atlanta hospital, and she has an eating disorder, and she also is having some problems with her heart. They said she'd probably be there anywhere from 3 to 6 months. And Miss Darlene gave us that prayer request, and Mother might sing that song tonight. She had down below this, but God. I'm glad God's first on the scene, and I'm glad He's able. So you keep them much in prayer. We have the T-shirts. A lot of you already have gotten some of those. If you want one after the service, they're back in the fellowship hall. St. Miss Henrietta and Sandy, the one they've been taking care of that. I don't know how many's left. I don't know what sizes are left. But if you want one, you better get it, as soon as they're going fast. And then don't forget, on July the 20th, That's on Saturday, this coming Saturday, at 2 o'clock. Mason Gibson, he's having a birthday party there at the skating rink. It starts at 2, as I said, this coming Saturday, so if you can attend that, be sure to do that. I'm sure he would appreciate you coming, but he'd appreciate you a whole lot more if you bring him again, okay? Be sure to bring him again. And I said I wasn't going to do this, but nobody else done it. Don't forget, next Sunday, y'all celebrate my birthday, and we're going to have a birthday dinner, right? Three of us are anyway. But be sure to bring well-filled baskets. We're going to eat after the service and have a good time and fellowship. So come next Sunday prepared to eat. And the church, of course, we always furnish the chicken and the ham and the drinks and all that kind of stuff. So you just come and be a part. And we certainly hope and pray you plan on staying and eating with us. I love for you to do that because we have good fellowship. All right. Well, I guess Brother Dennis can come this time. They tried to get this thing working over our system. Don't know what the problem is. It's just where the devil works. There's been $8,000 back there in that booth. We still can't seem to get it to do what it's supposed to do. So anyway, we're going to send our own sound system along with Brother Dennis. So we better get it working back there again, so we'll have to replace it again. All right, Brother Dennis, you come home. And I said also, Miss Sanders here. She plays and sings. She's welcome to sing for us if she wants to, and I hope that she chooses to do that. And we just appreciate this couple so much. And we appreciate the work that they've done for the Lord down through the years. They certainly have been a blessing. All right. Good. Yeah, that's all right. I thought you'd put me on the spotlight. But this is your water, Brother Dennis. If you need some.
Good evening. Y'all bear with us just a second. We'll have this thing going, amen. We'll always go outside and jerk in the old extension cords. It still works, amen. The old-fashioned stuff still works, don't it?
Hey.
Well, it's our system that's old.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking that preacher said they had y'all support us for 14 years. We've been gone for 27 years. And you know what? Going down, did that go down anymore, brother?
That's it.
South Road?
Yes, sir.
You have to raise the pulpit.
Brother Dennis, put your mic up to your neck, to your knot. No, the cord.
I've got it turned off.
Oh, we got it turned on? Okay. Just push till the red button comes on.
Okay.
We got music stand for Brother Dennis.
Does it go clear raise?
Maybe closer, go smaller. Okay. You're right to pull these all your stuff or follow. She's followed me for 27 years, and I don't have too many knots on my head yet. I'm going to show you all this new stuff y'all are responsible for. You know, a lot of times, you don't realize that every mission quarter and dollar, every mission dollar and quarter makes a circle back, man. And let me show you what we're talking about. We left about 27 or so years ago to win one person to Jesus Christ. And, you know, the Lord showed me that thousands is okay. Oh, let's just mess it up. Thousands is okay too, right?
Yes, sir.
I'll just bear with me. Well, we are going to do this to spite everybody else, to Satan, everybody else. Amen?
Right.
Everybody else? Everybody else? Let's see if it's going to work. I'm going to show you that yet.
I'd like to thank the Lord for saving me and for what He's done for me in my life. And I was just figuring out today that I've known the Lord for 33 years, right now in July. And it gets sweeter all the time. The more I learn about Him, the more that I realize how much that He loves me. And I'm just so thankful that if He can take care of the birds and the flowers, and well, He can certainly take care of us, can't He?
Sure.
And I just thank Him for saving me, and I'm going to sing a little bit and just thank the Lord that He loves me.
Yeah. Amen.
Observa los lirios, lo hermoso que están. No hay rey en la tierra que los pueda igualar. No trabajan ni hilan y amparados están con un toque de mi Cristo. Su hermosura es sin igual. Consider the lilies, they don't toil nor spin. Oh, but there is no king with more splendor than them. Consider the sparrow, he don't plant nor sow. Oh, but he's fed by my master, who watches them grow. And we have a heavenly Father above. His eyes are full of mercy, and his heart full of love. He really cares when my head is bowed low. Consider the lilies, and then you will know.
Amen.
That was sweet, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it's good to be here with y'all tonight, and thank y'all so much for your support and putting up with us all these years. But I want to show you what God's doing. Despite everybody, me and everybody else down there, we've got a couple of new churches there. We're trying to do some more projects. But I tell you what, God's still in control. And before I get started, we're on 37 or 38 church. I don't know which one. I don't remember. But despite us and everybody else, God's still doing. I don't even know how it got done, but it got done. Amen? And that's the best part, isn't it? When God does something, it's done, isn't it? Amen? Nobody can even take a claim for it. Amen? But y'all recognize a lot of these videos here? Let me get out of the way here.
Brother Dennis,
Yes, sir.
how about pulling your mic pull up toward the Nottingham Path? There you go.
That good?
That way you hear you. Yeah.
Hear me now? Okay. A lot of y'all know who we are, of course, there. I guess I'll just sit down. Is that all right?
That's all right.
And, but y'all recognize, I want to show you some new stuff here. You know, our ministry we left back in 91, 92. And go down there and help get churches built. And that's establishing church with indigenous pastors in Mexico. That means national pastors. That means that when we're all gone, guess what? The churches continue on. Most all these churches are already support missions. They're over 4 years old. And that means they're supporting 15, 20 missionaries out of their own mission churches. So your church supports a missionary to build mission churches. And then they support missions. And then they build churches and they support missions. And then we're not talking about a few people. We're talking about thousands and thousands of folks getting saved there, man. Is that a blessing? But you see some of the stuff that's going on. Build churches, schools. Can y'all see that? It's a little bit yellow looking in it. But that's all right. It's real close. But all the churches, all the stuff, and schools. We're on our 20th year at Alba del Sol, in our Christian school there in the church. Also, we have lots of tracts and ministries and Bibles going out. God's opened the door wherever we even send this stuff in Nicaragua, Belize, and Honduras, and even all the way down to China. We send the Spanish Bibles and Spanish tracts, which is strange, isn't it? And then, of course, this is the golf course there where we are. He started out how rough that property was. We moved in this house here, down where the White House is, from Las Palmas. And in the last 5 years or so, we've been able to build 6 buildings there to lodge people that come to groups and stuff. We have cabins, we have a dormitory with a kitchen, also with other rooms there. God's really blessed. And this is an old video. We have a couple more warehouses below there, and all the wood's gone. And then we have another building up there at the top. This was done with a drone, and it's a little old, but we still use that old video there. Blew up. Here we go. This is the lower part there. We're going to show you where everybody stays first, and we'll get into the new stuff there in Mexico and how we get this stuff done by church groups. Amen. God appoints people to come and help. Amen. Like the preacher was talking earlier, that's how God ordained all this to happen, is to get together to do this work for the cause of Christ. You see, a lot of church groups are putting roofs on different buildings and different things. You see the old tractor I had there, the old Myanmar, give up the ghost. Now I got a Massey Ferguson. Amen. Praise the Lord. There's another one of the buildings there, the new buildings. Some folks from Canada came to see us from all the way from Canada. This is some of the church groups wanting to take pictures there. We live that close to the river, the Rio Grande River there, where the property is. We're about a half a mile from the Rio Grande River, and that's the other side of Mexico. Lots of pressure we live right now, lots of pressure, and we will see some of the wall come close to us, so we do need the wall. Keep the drugs and the criminals out of this country.
Amen.
Amen. You see some more people there giving their work and their talents for the cause of Christ, doing all they can to work. This is all the buildings going up with church groups, places to stay, and doing a great work there, having a good time doing it. Yeah, it's the last building. Just got him opened up. Last building on that property. You see some of the folks are doing this last building right here is a little bit of stain and sheetrock and stuff like that, and it's first class for the cause of Christ. Amen. Yeah. Nice hippie floors, new cabinets, new appliances, everything is brand new for people to come down and stay and visit with us. Even the hippie floors and the floor we put down is from North Carolina. Yeah. We're glad to have that stuff, and God's donated all that stuff for the cause of Christ. So we got going here now. Going in. A lot of churches are started in Mexico. We're going on this is distribution network here. Distribution we have. Yeah, everything. Yeah, those churches go from that to this church right here. And just the simple fact of visitation, discipleship training, and getting out and knocking on doors. Amen. Running buses, working. And while these guys are doing that, there's grenades and gunfire going off all around them while they're out visiting, knocking on doors. They think they lived up the mountains where I used to come from, where I came from. So lots of pews. I was telling your pastor, while we've been here, we've already sent out 4 or 5 loads of pews. We're not even there. The workers that stand there to help us, they didn't sign up for that. Amen. No, I'm just joking. You can see them here working. We've given out probably maybe 12 loads in the last 3 or 4 months. And a lot of these churches has got more than 60 pews in them. And this is, of course, y'all seen that picture. It's Cynthia's little car. He's got a bigger car now. But this is the warehouses for our gifts for Christmas. We have 3,000-4,000 gifts.
Yeah, thank y'all.
Thank y'all for y'all's gifts.
Yeah.
This is where they go, all stockpiled in the warehouse, waiting for the people to come and get them. Yep. You see some of the ladies, and we had to go to the extra part of the warehouse just for that. But we have lots of pastors coming through the warehouses. You see some of the pews there. This is the churches. A lot of churches don't have good places to sit, and it looks like this when new pews come in. It's a real blessing. Also, console pianos is a big need for us. A console piano will go right in a 15-passenger van in the back, like in about 2 inches, and a lot of times they won't get checked. If we take them in trailers, we have to pay $125 taxes on each one of them. So, of course, we'd like to go in the vans. So the console pianos will go in the back of the van. And as long as they work good, we love to have them. And that's lots of pastors do not have pianos in church, and they really need a piano. I've probably got, 10 or 12 people on the list for that. Hope y'all enjoy it. This is the new church, Monte Hebron, Iglesia Bautista Monte Hebron, and they're doing real good, and y'all pray for this work here. Brother Vicente doing a great work.
This is the latest.
The latest one, yeah. Yeah, hope y'all enjoy this little video. Watch the progression of this church, if you will. It's real important. Those kids having Sunday school in those vans, 115 outside out there. And they're having Sunday school in another van. They're in the dirt, just pull a tarp over and come to church. Amen. Walk miles to come. And they're even Baptist. Amen. That's the strangest thing, isn't it? Amen. But y'all pray for this work. They're doing great. We're trying to get $3,000 to pay this property off. It was $10,000 to start with. They paid that much on. We matched some of their monies, and plus we helped them build all this church, and we get the Sunday schools and all built. But y'all pray about that, amen. We need $3,000 to pay the church off, pay the property off. And when that happens, there's another 2 lots beside him he's going to get, because this church is already running about 125, 130 people. It's less than 7 years old, and start to finish about 7 years old. Y'all pray for them. He's doing a great work, and he's also teaching in the Baldwins too. We have 2 more boys coming out of that church to us. Went to, you can see the middle of it now. We've got the Sunday school rooms all roofed already, and got the steps upstairs. But he's got 2 more boys. It's got out of Bible, so I think she has that.
In the end video,
But
then
yeah.
they can see where this is.
There's a later Nicholas, we see all that. It's already finished there on the Sunday school rooms. But 2 of those guys, they go to Bible school, and they 2.5, 3 years or so, they come out and they go back and work with their own pastor for a year. Then their pastor gets with us and tells us if they're ready to go to start another work. And one of them, the pastor already talked about, told me one of them is ready to go. And some of the people see probably be another church, build another church there this coming year. Y'all pray for us, though. It's getting real strange in Mexico. All the pressure the United States is putting on them, and they're putting pressure on the South America, and it's getting real weird in Mexico right now. Weirder than it already is, okay? Y'all pray for us. Lots of crime, lots of Zetas are going a little crazy down there right now, and y'all pray for us. You see the church now, they got the concrete floor in, all done by their tithes and offerings. They got the soul winning teams ready to go out. And these are 2 young gentlemen right here in the middle I was telling you about. They've graduated. They've already worked a year with their pastor, and the one of them's ready to go. And probably the other one, probably another few months, will be ready to go. But I don't know if you ever get ready to pastor, do you, brother?
Right.
I always go look in their heads if there's any knots. I can't ever find any on their heads.
Right.
But y'all pray for that work. Actually, well, you see that's what I told you about, the pay off the property. We can get some more property. That's one of our. It's not a big goal, but it's a small goal there. I'm also trying to finish up with the stucco and the inside of the building, and also the Sunday school building there. Trying to get that all finished, and we try to raise the funds to get that done. And if you don't tell or don't ask, nobody knows. Amen. So we tell. Yeah, I'm not afraid to come and tell. Amen.
Right.
Y'all pray for us, I appreciate that. This is the other church at Alabama Soul. We want to show you the school there and some of the kids there. I want you to look at this church right here. Has absolutely nowhere else to go. This is one of the oldest churches where this Christian school is, where y'all came when y'all came down, and doing great. But Angel's got mission off of it. The church is doing absolutely great. One of his daughters got married a year and a half ago. 2 years, year and a half ago, I think now. She's moved to San Antonio, and they're all sad. And she left, but she got her papers and left with her husband. But y'all pray for this church here. We're doing real good. We expect to have also doing a project here. You'll notice all the concrete we got poured in front. Also, church came and helped us get the roof on that. You see them working up there. Here in the school's going on. Got all that roof finished. That roof was on that building as hot as it is there for that shingle roof for 19 years now in that heat. We tore the paper off that thing, and it was still good. The paper and the sheetrock, the shingles were still good on that thing. That was real strange, isn't it? But that's that's the new roof there, and the church came down and got an upgrade on the church. But Adam's doing great work too. That's another one of the churches there we're working with full time, and we need to show them the act, if you will, honey. We've already got some of the purling from the very top up there. This is they have the church uses this for their outings because there's so many people comes. Usually during graduation we'll have maybe 500-600 people. The church is not big enough to house it, so we have it outside. So yes, there's a mission conference here. So we need a roof from the very top up there. They already got the columns. The columns poured out front. They've also got some of the families get together and they're buying 2x12 purlings 60 foot long. They're cutting them in half and they're welding them together. And we need about 7 more of those to go together, about $100 a piece. We also need 2x8 purling going on top of that, and we're going to put metal on top of that. That'll cover the whole area. It's 106 feet long and 36 feet wide. So we figure it's about almost $8,000, but I think we only like about 5 left to finishing up and getting it done. But you'll see the need here. This is graduation. We took the picture on top. We had all the tarps pulled out. It was only 109 that day, so it cooled off a little bit. You ever tried to eat Jell-O in that heat? It don't wiggle a bit, I guarantee you. It's like you put it on the table and everybody gets their fork and starts running after it. But That's just showing you the one of the beans they already bought, telling you about the 2 by 12 pearlings. They're pretty good size, and they weld those together. But y'all pray for that work. I mean, that's a small amount to get a complete. We can get the school covered for their use, and also the church can use that same property there. Be a real blessing to them.
Amen.
But you see the kids there, they get all dolled up for the graduation. And we'd love for y'all to come down and help us hand out those 50 or 75 graduation certificates one year, right at the end of May. Yeah, we had, 95 kids this year.
We did, but 49 graduated.
49 graduated. And this is, of course, us and all our teachers at the school. It's hard work. It's hard work. But you know what? We've had 50 families get saved and join that church now. They're in different places.
Yeah.
Three generations of kids, people and kids have been saved through that school. Isn't that a blessing?
Amen.
The church. There's 2 of them right there, man. And then the oldest girl's mama also got saved in the church there. It's just a real blessing to see. You know, you forget about stuff like that, and you get a little discouraged, and the Holy Ghost says, you know, big boy, look here. So remember that? So perk up and get with it. Amen? You have to smack me on the forehead once in a while. Pretty hard. See all the kids there working in the schools, and I tell you what, there's a lot. Brother Emmanuel's got a lot of stuff going on there in that school. And some of the groups come down to visit their kids. They support, sponsor like y'all do. And there's somebody y'all might know. I'm not sure about that. You get a little gray there, though, isn't you? I don't know about that. But we enjoyed Brother Ron coming down with us. He followed me around a few days there.
I tried to.
But that's, I was telling you that's the school sponsorship. They're still in force. But sponsor those children still $1 a day. We really appreciate it. I know you already sponsor some, and we appreciate everything y'all sponsor. Excuse me. There's the roofs on there also. I forgot how much we still owe them to finish it up. 5, I think. Yeah, here it is, right here. There's the roof we've been looking for. We still have 5. She keeps track of that. We started out at 8. We still need about 5 more to finish that up. Don't pray about that too. If the Lord has provided that what we're in this year. And also we have a private. That's our personal van. We have a real nice Chevrolet van. The air conditioner even works on it, amen. We had 2 Dodges one year, and that we had that was donated to us, and we given away 60 or 70 vehicles in Mexico. And I had 15 people in both vans, and they're not used to not having air conditioner. And it's probably in the low hundreds somewhere. But we got to a stop, and the side door on them old Dodges, it slide across, wouldn't stop sliding. So I got out, and I was a little bit irked, I guess. I had a little bit of temper tantrum, and I grabbed the whole door and jerked the whole door off the side of the van. They said, "Oh, now what we're going to do?" I said, "Well, we're going to continue on." I wired this thing the best I could with the flow center, and we went on out of there. Yeah, there also need bands that, anything like that donated, we'll give it away to the pastors and the needs. And also, lots and lots of Bibles, lots of tracts. So we're getting still millions and millions of gospel tracts going out through the ministry there. And we appreciate all your help and your support. I got one more video real quick.
Most of this stuff is from this year.
This is all this year. So it's sort of like a summary. And we appreciate y'all. Y'all are just as big a part of this as we are. Amen?
Yeah.
We like to come. We tell you about it in our letter. We like to come and show you. Amen?
Yeah, amen.
You are standing on the mountain, into the shepherd's hand. point of view, standing high above the trial that He brought you safely through. All the valley's disappointments will never look the same to you. For things look different on the mountain from the shepherd's point of view. All the valley's disappointments will never look the same to you. For things look different on the mountain from the shepherd's point of view.
You know, when we came here today, I was charged up and all filled up when I got here today. And you know what? It's to be a blessing if we can always remember that somebody around us might be discouraged in the house of God. And just try to, if you don't do anything else, just encourage someone around you during the day, and just encourage someone. We appreciate y'all letting us come. Now, I'm going to ask you something. Don't you listen to me now? I know everybody's got all our lives, and you've got all these things planned, and stuff, maybe dinner or whatever. But what if that never happened when you left here? What if the Holy Ghost, He's not going to, but what if you knew in the next 35 minutes or 40 minutes you were going to leave here?
Right.
What would you do this afternoon? You just go home and go eat, or go home and knock around, or if you knew that you have let's go an hour. What if you had one more hour after this church service before the rapture took place? If you're a born again Christian, that means you're leaving here. Amen?
Right.
What would you do? What would you do? When you left here and went home, what would you do? Would you go home and eat? Would you go knock on doors, or would you visit your lost loved? What would you do? If you knew that you had one more hour left. You know, we should live that way.
Amen.
We should live every day like that in our lives. Because it may happen. That's how close we are leaving here, amen?
All right.
That's how close you are. But I just wanted to share that with you today, that our time is like vapor in the air, isn't it? It really is. And I'm telling you, it's getting faster and faster.
Yes.
Amen? Getting faster and faster. And God bless y'all. Thank y'all so much. Anybody have a question, anything whatsoever? Ready to go? When y'all want to come? I want to know. When y'all want to come and visit? Help! 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 Amen. We need some help. Amen.
Brother Dennis,
Thank you. Yes, sir.
would you share with us your testimony?
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, it's been a long time. A lot of our people probably haven't heard of that.
I sure would. She keep me from getting anything. She's, when I was in business, her brother and his wife at the time, he was God called him to preach. He was around preaching different places, and we were making lots of money. And we thought, well, we'll just go to Mexico for vacation. We'll fly into Cancun or Cozumel or somewhere and go on vacation like most tourists do.
Oh, we were gonna go see a missionary too.
Yeah, we were going to go see Brother Noel Edwards. He was in Campeche. We were going to go see him too over there and go to the other side of the state there. But we were going to go do that, so we did. We all went down there and got there and started looking around, and just wasn't what we thought Mexico was really like. We wanted to see more of Mexico, so we got to Cancun. We rented us a small car. It's one of those small Nissan 4-door cars. And so we got in it, and we took off, and we made our way across the Yucatan Peninsula. And every bump in the road, there were some kids selling oranges or apples, and my wife had her fingernails painted real pretty. She had hair clips, and they were trying to get those out, and they were trying to swap, the little girls were. And we had a great time, though, talking to all the people. And everywhere we went, we seen dead dead Catholic churches on every corner. Wasn't nobody there. I didn't even see a priest there at the time. We were just churches and everybody sitting around and stuff and very poor. And the further we went to worship God. And we made it all the way to Merida, to Yucatan on the other side of from where we were. And Merida from where the rest of the state was 700,000 or 800,000 people was in the town of Merida. It's on the far western side of Yucatan Peninsula. And we got over there and we decided we'd get us a motel and we'd have a supper that night. So we did. We got us a real old-fashioned motel that was transported from Europe to there and put back together. We were on about the second or third floor, wasn't it? About the second or third floor. And after supper, we went back to the motel. And it was so hot. There wasn't anybody walk around much in the daytime, but at night, everybody came out in the streets, and the streets were solid people. I mean, it was solid people around below the motel and around everywhere, walking around, getting their stuff done and stuff. And me and her brother was outside talking, and we were discussing the lost condition. And we never did find but one church, clear presentation of the Word of God in that whole town. There's 700,000 people in that town, and that night. Her brother were talking, and he was a preacher, and I'm not. And I was just a layman in the church at the time, and still am, basically, and a servant for God. But my brother said, you know what, it would be awesome if we could help or do something here as a church. And that night I prayed to God to send him to Mexico to start a church. And that was a big mistake. Amen. But you know, that's how we are as new Christians, is we understand the need, but the problem was I had a fat pocketbook. That was my problem. I'm just going to be honest with you, we're making a lot of money. I thought, well, Lord, I'm giving a lot to the church, and that should be enough. But the Lord wanted us to go, not him. And after we prayed that prayer, I fought it for over a year and a half. We were working, and I'd bring the money home, and she was doing all the secretarial work, and I got sick and tired of doing it. I got sick of making money. And the Lord got me in a position where I started seeing there's on I-40, the Pigeon River goes into Tennessee, and we travel through there a whole lot, and I'd see people crossing that bridge. There wasn't anybody there. The guys would look at me. I'd stop and sit there and I'd think, what's going on? And I'd just pull off. I'd see people crossing the bridge. There wasn't nobody there. And finally, I submitted to God, and we were back at her, talking to her brother and his wife, and I told them, and my wife, I was sort of keeping it to myself, that we're going to have to sell out and leave, sell everything we have and leave. So we cried and all that, and I told my pastor, and he told me I was crazy. Amen. My home pastor told me I had lost my mind. But you know what? I really gained my mind. I hadn't lost my mind, I gained my mind. They just didn't understand. Nobody understood. And then my wife was we just built a 3-story house over, we could see them blowing the snow back in Catalunya where our house was. And then my wife decided she wasn't going to go. Amen? So I'll let her tell you about that. But
He just makes that really sound bad.
But that's the way it is. If God called both of us, and finally we were, you want to tell me? Help me tell me.
No, I can. Well, he is really right. But it wasn't a house. It wasn't material. It was my family. And that's what it was. It was church that we knew and familiar things. That's really what it was. But I was appreciative of having the new house. I don't mean that. But the weird thing is, or the funny thing, I grew up in church, and we always had missionaries come by. And I could always see myself as a missionary. But when it came down to it, it's scary. It was just, just a scary thing. And I started, I don't know, meeting the people and seeing the people and talking to them and learning a little bit of Spanish, because it's hard to, I mean, smile goes a long way, but it don't go, forever. And so just getting to know people, we went on several survey trips, and we were, he probably wants me to tell this part, but we had gone down to Matehuala, and then on down to, where?
Went down to Pascual.
Yeah, and Michoacan. And so we were coming back, and he looked over at me, and I know I was white as a sheet. And he
On the
said,
airplane.
yeah, what's wrong with you? And I said, God is going to make this plane go down and kill all these people because I'm rebelling on him. And that's how I felt about it. I'm just like, he's going to kill all these people. And I felt like Jonah, sort of. And so he looks at me and he says, well, what makes you think God's going to kill all these people? He can just zap you out right there. I was looking for comfort, but I didn't get any. But that was the turning point. And we do believe and have sense that God calls both.
Oh,
We saw too many people come and go, and when somebody's heart's not in it.
Right.
But it's all about God. It's all about grace. It's all about Him and just wanting to serve Him. And I was talking to a young girl this week, and she was telling me about her grandparents, and she said, I don't want to just sit there. And I said, but you know what? God takes people who comes to church, and they're faithful, and they're there to keep someone that He calls to go. So there's nothing big or little about anything that anybody does, as long as we're doing what God wants us to do. And it's a blessing. It's a blessing. It's not always easy. My dad has dementia right now, and it gets a little hard just being away. And that I'm not giving a sad story, because my parents are saved, and they know about God's grace, and they know that we're doing what God wants for us to do. But sometimes it's still the family that's there. And but I thank the Lord for what He's brought us through and taught us.
Yeah. That is. I'm surprised she told that whole story. I'm just joking. You know what? Working together as one flesh and on the mission field is an easy thing to do. It really is. It's an easy thing to do. Loving one another and serving one another is the only way to work for the cause of Christ. And when one kicks out or one stops, it's going to quit. Simple as that. And I've seen it in pastors, I've seen it in missionaries, seen it all over the world. But family is what matters. Amen. Family. It's worth it. To stick it out till it's over. Amen. It's worth it.
Amen.
I wouldn't trade it for nothing. But thank you, Brian. Yes, sir. Nothing else? Yes, sir.
Just wondering, I know other missionaries that actually missionary pastors to Mexico. In some places, the Catholic Church threatens them. I mean, even threatens to kill them. There's been evidence the Catholic Church has killed missionaries that are down there. And I know in my ministry to Catholics, I regularly get threatened. Do y'all get threatened in your ministry by the Catholic Church?
Not per se, as far as a phone call or actually walking up. I haven't ever been threatened by a priest or anything. I've talked to a lot of them. I've had a few scream at me.
Oh yeah.
We've had a couple of instances where Satan himself flew over his head at the road, and we actually witnessed it. I can tell you about that. But as far as I didn't feel threatened. We just kept on pleading the blood. And he screamed running down the road, jumped in his car and left. Yeah. And the black crows, hundreds of them went behind him. Amen. They run cool. But I had a visiting pastor with us, and a couple of them, he said, brother, he got the band, he said, brother, he said, I've got cold chills on my arm, big big as cantaloupes. He said, let's get out of here. I said, yes, sir.
Down there in Veracruz, though, where Brother Ron went down there with us one time, and that pastor they came to burn him out. But God, intervened with him. But we have heard of a lot of stories.
The sad thing is, though, and a lot of people don't understand, the Catholic Church is not a Christian church. I was raised a Catholic. They have another gospel, another Jesus, and another Mary, obviously, another Bible. And just like I said, just really need to pray for us, because the Catholic Anti-Defamation League regularly threatens me because of our radio program. And all we do, we just tell the difference between the Catholic Church and what the Bible teaches.
That's right, that's right. Brother Horta, she was telling me about when Brother Ron was went down there. They had a thatched church, Brother Horta did, and that's Panuco Veracruz is the headquarters of Wiccan, where they go in Halloween. That's where all the witches, North America witches go. I don't know if anybody of y'all knew that or not, but Veracruz. But I think I told Ron about that. But when Catholic Church is involved in that, as they are anything else, it's a Wiccan organization. But Brother Horta had that thatched church, and there's only a few of them out. They were praying out in the street because they told them they were coming to burn them out. They seen the torches coming down the road. And Brother Horta got on the back of the old truck he had and got to praying and preaching. He was preaching and praying too at the same time. There's about 7 of them his family on the truck. And he told me this. He said they come down the road, and he said all of them just stopped and started looking real funny. And they were looking above him, and they were all looking real funny. He said all of a sudden they started throwing the torches down, and they took off running. And he said, I don't know what they seen above us, but somebody was there. And it must have been a whole host. He said, I didn't see nothing. He said, all I seen was them running. They run fast. But like that song our brother sang was awesome. You got to continue trusting the Lord, amen. There's nothing else. There's nothing else. No one else, nothing else to trust, amen. Just trust God. Amen. Who had a question? I'm sorry.
I know you have limited space for students, and at one time you had a waiting list trying to get in. Do you still have?
Sure do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting close to 100 right now, and we're pretty well peaked out on
We're peaked out,
there. We lost one girl who helps in the school. So,
But we're peaked out. We don't, it is because of the room, but they just keep putting them in there, and we keep finding them.
With the sponsorship, $30 a month, that covers their schooling and food?
We have a church actually in Marion, North Carolina, that they send $500 a month just for food. So that takes a big, a load off of the sponsorship. So the sponsorships basically, we usually have 2 big book orders a year, but with the sponsorship that we get, it goes towards those kids.
as soon as the end of August comes, she'll order. We have about a $1,300 book order for the year 15.
Depends on
That's
how
her.
many
That's her
kids.
department. I'm in the construction part. She does the more or less takes care of all that and of what's going on. I really don't even know most of the time what day it is. When I get up, I just go to work. But she takes care of that. But we're maxed out. The $30 I think is for school books and for paperwork and pencils and for an outfitter too.
It used to be for an outfit. Now honestly, if we have 95 kids come in and we have 50 sponsors, then we would rather make sure that those kids are there all year than have an outfit. So the parents are, they're in charge of most of the time, because we're not ever at 100% sponsor at all. But that's what we try to do. We're like, okay, well, if we can sponsor 2 kids with $30 as far as, their supplies and stuff like that, then we'll do that. So we just, make it work.
Y'all been to Walmart sometimes or some of these clothing stores where they have those khaki skirts and khaki pants and little small blue shirts and stuff. That's what the kids wear there in school. So if you'd like that, somebody like to get together and do maybe pick up 30 or 40 outfits, we can send the sizes. They're real small sizes.
Well, they would be from 4 to 6, 4 to 7. They would fit somebody's.
I think outfits are probably less than $7 or $8. They sell them for what, $3 or $4 a piece to get rid of them on those racks.
after they go.
after they've gone through, on the sale,
And
so.
school supplies too, I know that y'all done school
School supplies
supplies
is
before,
awesome.
and that's a big deal too, so.
Some of the parents cannot afford to buy, a
paper and pencils for the school for their kids.
Yeah.
They may have 4 or 5, and some of them may have more children than that in school, but we also try to provide, we don't want any of the kids to not be able to have what they need to go to school.
The truth is, and this may sound embellished or something, but it's really not. The truth is we've had kids miss school, and we require that, they at least come and tell us or write a note. And I promise there's been times that they said, we didn't have any paper. And can you imagine not having a piece of paper? And that's not a sad story or anything, because we're there to give them the gospel, and we're going to give them a piece of paper. But we just don't think about stuff like that. So, yeah, anything that we can get that it helps somebody. We got a sewing machine tonight, and
Yeah.
there's one of the schools, it's a Bible college, and the pastor's wife asked me 2 years ago, she said, can you try to get us some sewing machines? And so it just occurred to us, and we got a sewing machine.
We have 4 pastors in the school pastoring. They're doing a good job. Sam Bedford's doing a great job.
Yeah.
So he's real. Now, is anything else real quick for Trevor, you pastor?
I heard it was easy to cross the border when we were there. We just kind of go through. Is it that way now?
It's pretty well that way. We get stopped every time in our vehicle. Our van's got, our Chevrolet we have's got dark windows. So they stop us every time we cross, no matter if we have anything or not. Once in a while, if I catch them, we catch them if they're real busy, or if there's not a lot of cars, it's a little bit chilly, they'll just sort of hang around the corners and drink their coffee, and you just sort of ease on through and grin at them as you go by.
You have to have a passport now, though.
To get back.
Yeah. You didn't have to have that when y'all came.
No matter if we get a green light or a red light means you have to stop, but a green light means you can go. They always stop us when you even get a green light when we have a vehicle. We know we're hauling stuff, but we usually get through with stuff. We've hauled probably $20 million worth of stuff into Mexico. So without paying taxes on it, so we've done good, amen? God's protected us, supplies and lumber. We had, one time I'll tell you a story, I remember I may have told Ron about this. We were building the roof on one of the churches, and we had the van, 15-passenger van is usually about, 22 and a half feet more or less. We had 24 feet lumber, and I had 8 men in that van, all huddled up. We had about 60 pieces of lumber hanging out the back of that van with one of those straps on it, tied it down. And it was hanging out, the doors were open on the van on the back, and you're only allowed about $100 per person to go in there without being, I told the guy, I said, we stopped the van, I said, I know what, let's just pray that God blinds all of them. We got to get this in. They're working on the roof over there, and we're behind. I had the generator in there. They're going to charge me tax on it too if they stop me. And I said, let's just pray that they blind them. And it just came into my mind. They said, okay. So we stopped there on the side. We prayed. They're drinking coffee. And honestly, we pulled on that. We pulled up there to the light, and the light went green, and all the guards turned the other way. That's what God said. And for 45 minutes, I couldn't get out of the van. They didn't know what to do, amen? That's when prayer is answered immediately, amen? And, it's good once in a while to do that for us, so we get used to that, isn't it, amen? Immediately. But I tell you what, God's protected us and kept us from getting shot, kept us from getting blown up, and I hope it continues, amen? But thank y'all so much, and we love the people, we love the work, and we love y'all too, amen? Appreciate y'all. Yes, sir.
You said it got chilly, does that mean it's like down in the 80s?
Yeah, it was probably in the 50s. They probably dropped down in the 50s that morning, and they were all frozen. They had coats on, and toboggans, and everything. Amen. But 100 in the 100s down in the 50s, pretty cold. It's cold. It can drop. I know.
Get real, been out in the sun a long time, and the cold bothers you. I know it bothers me.
Any more? Nothing else? We need y'all to come see us, amen? Yeah. Send your pastor down and his wife and visit with us. We won't work them too hard.
We'll leave that.
Amen. We may take a day off and take them fishing, amen? Nothing else? God bless y'all. Thank y'all so much for putting up with us and supporting us, and keep on praying for us. We're not done yet. Amen. Thank y'all so much. God bless y'all. Thank you, preacher.
Thank you, Brother Dennis. We sure do appreciate y'all. Love y'all so much. And, it's exciting to see what the Lord's doing through our mission work here at the church. And I know that they have other churches that support them, but we have a part in that. And especially when you see other churches that are being built, and those churches in Mexico are sending out missionaries to other areas. One day we'll get to heaven, that will be to our account. All those souls been won to Jesus. We'll have a part in that. And that's a blessing. And what brings back a lot of memories when we see some of the slides and see some of the places that we went while we were there, helping and working. And I'll say tonight about Brother Dennis what Brother Mike Boone said about Brother Robert. That's a working man right there. He works. And this Sandra works too. We've been with them, we know. And they've been at it for a long time. And I appreciate the Lord calling Brother Dennis. He didn't share this with you, but he has shared this with us before, and I'm sure he won't mind me mentioning this. But Brother Dennis told us when he started out this work, and Brother Dennis would make a good preacher and a good pastor. But he knew that Brother Dennis was disqualified for that. Is that right, Brother Dennis? But he knew, and I say disqualified because of divorce and remarriage and so on and so forth. A lot of people don't see that, but that's in the book, folks. That's in the Word of God. But just see, this man yielded his life, and just see what God done through him and his wife on the mission field, building all these churches, 38 churches, getting all these goods and all these things down there in those churches. That takes a special person to do that. And he told me this a long time ago, and he said he was making a lot of money. He told me, he said, Richard, I was making I had a 6-digit income coming in. And like that verse Brother Ronnie read this morning for our devotion, he left it all. And that's a lesson. I'm not pinning any bouquets on these folks, but to God, as they said in their film slide, to God be the glory. God is blessed, God is used. So you be sure to go by and speak to Brother Dennis and Sister Sandra and let them know how much you love and appreciate them. And I sure am glad they're part of our mission program here at the Emmanuel Baptist Church. We thank them so much for coming and spending their time with us. Let's stand if you would, please, and we'll be dismissed in a word of prayer. And I appreciate the challenge. I appreciate the work. I appreciate the burden that they have to continue. I like what he said. We're not finished yet. We're not done yet. There's still a lot to be done. And that should be the attitude of all of us. There's still a lot to be done. We should say tonight that we're not finished. We're not done yet. So let's be dismissed in word of prayer. You be sure that, like I say, Brother Dennis and Miss Sandra would like to go ahead and go to the back there. The folks come out and we're dismissed. And everybody say hello to them. And don't forget the request we mentioned. Don't forget to sign up if you want to eat Wednesday night. And pray for our church. Pray for our people. Pray for the sick, those that we've mentioned today and called their name of request. If you would please remember to pray for them all. Brother Dwayne Easter, would you dismiss us?